Anyway, I think I went on a little bit in the Urdu language, but then I was instructed. Realistically, the topic of today is what can we learn from the Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the beloved's life. What can we learn in regards to nurturing our youngsters? What are the lessons? And what are the lessons for our youngsters, for our youth? You know, our elders, they've spent the best part of 30 to 40 years of their lives here. And alhamdulillah, they've done a superb job. We're sitting in a very beautiful masjid. By the way, when I was walking in, I saw some lovely lights, and when I walked in here, I saw these beautiful decorations, and you have some lovely decorations here, alongside with some beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all the way around. So basically, the question arises. So I'd rather, why do we do this? Why do we celebrate in such a way that we decorate our mosques and we decorate our homes? This is a question that arises quite often. And we must be in a position to answer this question. At the birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, what's the first thing that we hear on the Mawlid of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? We hear at the time of the birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, there was this beautiful light which illuminated. And Sayyidatuna Amina radiyallahu ta'ala anha, the mother of all believers, because she was the mother of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. We must know these names for the youngsters sitting here. You see, if I was to ask you what team do you support, what football team do you support? Some of you may say Manchester United, some of you may say Liverpool, some of you, I know my son sitting here supports Arsenal, I think. And you would know the names of the players. Not only would you know the names of the players, you know what goal, who scored, what goal, in which game. I think we've got the European Cup coming up soon, right? Okay, so basically, you're looking forward to that, and you will have the entire history of the game. You will you'll buy magazines from the shops, and you will look into the lives of these football players. Why? Because you feel that they are our heroes. We love football, and these are great players. Therefore, it's natural. It's natural. Okay, it's natural to be inclined towards certain personalities that are doing extremely well, that have these attributes of not a superhero, but a hero, and therefore we become their fans, right? And then we find out so much about them. And my question is, even if we are into superheroes, when I was growing up, I remember Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. These were our superheroes, and I used to think, wow, these are great superheroes. But this is not something which was real. I later on found out, as I was growing up, when I was at the age of 12, I think, somebody told me, what you see on TV is just not real. And I realized this. I thought, wow, all these years, I used to think, wow, I wish if I could fly like Superman, he's a superhero, only to find out it's fake. But there's real superheroes in Islam. The best and the top being the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam. قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. al-Nabi was mentioning the beauty of the Mawlid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and why do we celebrate this? And yes, we don't need evidence. Our superhero is the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam. We don't need evidence. If we can buy magazines for our heroes, and if we can become fans, the best of creation, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam, why don't we know much about it? I wonder. Why don't we know? Is a question that we need to ask ourselves. Do we know the name of the mother of the Prophet ﷺ? Do we know the name of the father? Do we know the name of the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ? Because in this hadith, in coming back to why we light the masjid up in our homes, is because the mother of the Prophet ﷺ, who is known as well as the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they're all known as Ummahat al-Mu'mineen. Must get used to these terminologies. The mothers of believers, or the mother of a believer. So Sayyida Amina radiallahu ta'ala anha said, and this is, if you really want to know what a superhero is, she says the eyewitness. At the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, there was a light which illuminated, and it went as far as Syria, which was hundreds of miles away, and I could see the palaces lit up in Syria. So for this is enough for us to say that, you know what, there's nothing wrong with lighting up the mosques. Some were reciting beautiful naats and nasheeds. This is our way of showing the love to the Prophet. Some who can't recite naat, for example. Somebody who has stage fright, who doesn't want to recite the Quran because he is scared of standing on the stage. You know, for them, just having beautiful thoughts in our mind about the Prophet ﷺ, this is showing our love. And if somebody wants to light up the masjid, and the intention, remember, our a'mal, the darul-madar, if you like, revolve around our intentions. And if my intention is I want to light up, or I want to contribute towards, decorating the masjid, because that's one way I can show the love of the Prophet ﷺ, that will be accepted as a beautiful deed, But we need to go a step further. If we truly want to show, and if you truly want to celebrate the love of the Prophet ﷺ, because this is something which is being instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ, here fadl means grace. وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ means mercy, rahmah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Indeed, we have not sent you but a mercy upon mankind. Al-Jawzi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, giving the commentary to this ayah, or this portion of this ayah, he says here, rahmah is definitely meant the Prophet ﷺ. Fadl, the grace is the Quran. Jalaluddin Asyuti rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, according to my understanding, the fadl here, the grace is the Prophet ﷺ, and rahmah is the Quran. And some have gone as far and have said, both the grace in this ayah, fadl, and rahmah, they're both the Prophet ﷺ. So when the mercy, what is mercy? Let me try and explain what is mercy. And this is something for our elders, we need to be very merciful to our children as well. हमारे बच्चे अगर मस्जिद में आ रहे हैं तो वो कहते हैं कि हम जुबा नहीं पहन कर जाएंगे, या हम अपने जो मामूल हैं उसके मुताबिक उनको लेकर मस्जिद में जब उन्हें आने की आदत पड़ जाएगी तो फिर ये हम पर डिपेंड करता है कि हम जो अच्छी एग्जाम्पल जिसको कहते हैं वो सिर्फ हम ज़ुबान से उसका इज़हार करते हैं या हम अपने अमाल से इज़हार करते हैं। अगर इज़हार उनका अमाल से हो तो वो देकर एक दिन इंशाल्लाह वो भी टोपी पहनना और अच्छे जो इस्लामी लिबास हैं उनको पहनना शुरू कर देंगे। लेकिन ये दौर ऐसा नहीं है कि बच्चों पर सख्ती और उनको कहो कि भाई नहीं तुमने यही कपड़े पहन कर जाने हैं, क्योंकि इस तरह वो मुतनफ़र हो गए। हमारे बहुत सारे नौजवान थे वो इस तरह बागी हो गए, उनके अंदर सख्ती बहुत ज़्यादा थी तो वो बागी हो। बच्चों को कहो बच्चा तैयार हो जाओ, जो भी पहनना लेकिन मस्जिद में चलते हैं, खुद भी आए नमाज पढ़ें, बच्चों को भी साथ लेकर। The mercy, the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He is a mercy upon the universes. Alameen here means the universes. One meaning is mankind, one meaning The real meaning is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Alameen, His mercy, that's power. If you really want to look into superpower, this is power. This is power. He is mercy, Rahim, or Rahmah. Rahmah. You know, somebody who's always merciful. Somebody, you know, sometimes we are polite, we are in a good mood in the morning, but that doesn't necessarily mean to say that I'm going to be in good mood in the evening. There's a good chance I might be in a bad mood in the evening. But the Prophet, Allah's and the Prophet's mercy is such that it's always there, and it's in abundance. Now if you look, Alameen, just to explain to you, you know, we talk about the universe. What is the universe? There's two types of universes according to the scientists. One is the observable universe, which is also known as the Hubble sphere, which through the Hubble telescope, जो कायनात की हद निगाह in Arabic is, that is known as the observable universe. What the Hubble telescope can actually see, the limit. And it's, those of you that are familiar with maths or are good in maths, its diameter, or to find out its diameter, you have to look from one point to the end of the second point, from one side, and then you times it by 2. And it's 1 point from the earth to the edge of the observable universe. Keep this in mind, observable universe is 46 billion light years. 46 billion light years. And to find out its diameter, you have to times it by 2, which is 96 billion light years. And the scientists tell us that the universe is forever expanding, and it's expanding faster than the light of the universe. And if we want to get some grasp of the rahmah and the mercy of mine and your superhero, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you need to know that his rahmah is far greater and it travels far faster than the travel of light. It's not possible for humans to travel the speed of light because we would perish. And Einstein's theory is that we can't travel the speed of light. But the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light, and this rahmah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is maghloob, meaning it's in abundance and is far greater than the speed of the universe in its expansion, and it is far greater than what we could possibly imagine the universe is, which humans can't. So So our superhero is Rasulullah. This is who we need to be in love. If you're picking up magazines and we are saying, oh Dad, Abu Ji, I need £1.50. Better, why do you need £1.50? I need to buy a magazine. What magazine do you want to buy? I want to buy the next football magazine. Maybe we need to start saying, Dad, I need £3. I found out that this beautiful Swedish scholar has written something on the Shama'il of the Prophet ﷺ. Dad, I need £10 for that. And I can assure you, your dad will put that £10. He'll take you to an Islamic church. Go and purchase those books. Go, come to the mosques. Sit, you have a great Maulana Shahid here, mashallah. He's very educated. He's a graduate of Al-Azhar University, one of the top ranking universities in the world. Say to your dad, Dad, I have a question. I want to come and sit with my husband. And I want to have a word with this Shaykh. I have this question. I want to know the Prophet ﷺ. Well, how am I going to know the Prophet ﷺ? The only way we can know the Prophet ﷺ is through studying the life of the Prophet ﷺ. Through sending salutations upon the Prophet ﷺ. Well, one may ask, well, hang on, if you're going to send salutations upon the Prophet ﷺ, you're not really getting knowledge of the Prophet ﷺ. Let me show you the power of the Prophet ﷺ. The power of the Prophet ﷺ is such that when we send salutations, upon the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ receives that salutation. And when he receives it, what happens? He looks at people, with love. His ummah with love. And then when he looks at one of his ummah with love, his heart opens. And then he finds means to study deen, to study the sacred knowledge of deen. I was walking in, I saw the whiteboard. On that whiteboard, I don't know which teacher this was, and may Allah bless him. It said, when you eat and drink. I read those words as I was walking in. And look, somebody is writing in English and teaching. There are youngsters here. Why are they here? They're here because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought us here to study. So we need to spend time looking into the life of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. In terms of what we can learn from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, I have a few things, inshallah. First and foremost, we need to be honest, and this is very important. Honesty, our elders used to say, my dad used to say to me, honesty is the best policy. Honesty, why? Why is it the best policy? Because it's going to get you out of trouble, even when you think you're getting into trouble. Prophet ﷺ said, to cover one lie, you have to say thousands, hundreds of lies to cover it up. And eventually you get caught and you get yourself into a bigger trouble. So if you've done something wrong and you're being confronted, put your hands up and say it was me. Here, look, the Prophet ﷺ, even before he mentioned of his prophethood, before he told the people that I am Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and believe in one Allah, before that he spent لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have sent the Prophet ﷺ from that particular community. Why? Because the community saw him from a very young age, growing up as a young man, becoming, a businessman, going to Syria, doing business, living and socializing with the people of Quraysh. So people knew the Prophet ﷺ just the way they knew their own children. And just the way the rabbis and the Christian scholars knew about the Prophet ﷺ, that he is a prophet through their own scriptures. And they say, we know the Prophet just the way we know ourselves. We know, looking at him when he came to Madinatul Munawwara, when the Prophet ﷺ migrated, the scholars of the Jewish and the Christian tradition, they saw the Prophet ﷺ and they recognized him straight away. And they recognized him as a prophet, as Ahmad. And they said, we recognize him better than we recognize our own children. And this is how the people of Quraysh knew the Prophet ﷺ before his nubuwwah, before his prophethood. And what did they used to call him? As-Sadiq. Amin. The truthful. There's a difference between truthful and there's a difference between the truthful. The truthful. This is ma'rifah. This is something special. The one who speaks the most truth. The one who would never lie. This is how he was recognized by the people of Quraysh, who later on became his enemies. Abu Jahl was asked, Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala narrates this. He was asked just moments before the battle of Uhud took place. Somebody approached him and he asked Abu Jahl, who was the greatest enemy. Remember, he was the greatest enemy of the Prophet, Abu Jahl. And he said, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he speaks about one God and he denies our gods. Is he lying? Is he lying? This is Abu Jahl. He's saying, no. He's not lying. He's not lying. He's telling the truth. It's our ego. They come into, when the pilgrims come into Makkah al-Mukarramah, and when they circumambulate the Kaaba, they become the custodians. They're the ones that counsel them. They're the ones that give them hostility. And they're the ones that host them. And they've achieved this great status in Makkah al-Mukarramah. And if Nabuwwah, if prophethood goes into that family, and Muhammad takes it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then we have nothing there. So it was the ego. Even Abu Jahl, he said that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam is telling the truth. And you've heard this many times, when the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam climbed on the mountain and he called the Quraysh. He's come, and they all came. You know, if the Prophet ﷺ said, I need to have a word, they would come running, because they knew this particular person means business. He means business. Because when he's going to say something, it's going to be the absolute truth and nothing but the truth. So when he gathered the people, and he said, if I told you that behind these mountains, there is an army which is your enemy and is coming to attack you, would you believe me? They said, oh Muhammad, we would not doubt it for a second. And if it was you who said it, we would prepare ourselves for a battle without even looking at it, without even seeing what's beyond this mountain. And then he said, oh people of Quraysh, just the way you would believe me that there are enemies, if they were to be behind these mountains, I am telling you, there is only one God, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is when Abu Lahab, you know, he said some really horrible words, and you know, the ayahs were revealed against him in the Quran. But people believed the Prophet ﷺ. They just didn't want to accept the truth, because they thought, you know, they're superior. Even when the Prophet ﷺ migrated into Madinah al-Munawwarah, even the Jewish scholars and the Christian scholars, they knew he was the Prophet. You know, this is something that was told by Sayyidina Musa ﷺ. There is a star in the skies, and that's that star. When it starts to move, know that the final Prophet ﷺ is. In fact, there was a Sayyidina Hassan bin Thabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He lived a life of 120 years. 60 years he spent in ignorance, and 60 years he spent as a Muslim. And he says, when I was young, and I remember this very clearly, at the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, there was he was running up and down, and he was saying, oh people of Bani Israel, come and gather. I have some very important news. And they gathered, and I remember him saying, that star that Sayyidina Musa, Kalimullah alayhi salatu wasalam, mentioned, and he said that when it moves, that has moved, and that star Ahmed, he's born, and today Bani Israel has lost his prophet, has lost his messengerhood, and it has come into Quraysh. So this is who our hero is. Patience. You know, we have such a massive issue, huge issue with being patient. You know, when the Prophet ﷺ, when the people of Quraysh were listening to him, and they were really torturing the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ went into the mountains of Taif, and he began to preach, and you've heard this many times before. And when he began to preach the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people of Taif, they instructed their children to go and pelt the Prophet ﷺ with stones. You've heard this many times, and the Prophet ﷺ was stoned. And this is a very sad amongst us. You know, another thing, my brothers and sisters, you know, when we face difficulties and we run up and down and we complain to people, and then we complain to Allah, Ya Allah, what kind of life have you given us? We need to have a look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, through the mu'jizat that He had blessed the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ could have sat in the Kaaba, and the entire world could have come and accepted Islam. And if he had went to Madinah al-Munawwarah, he would have sat in Masjid al-Nabawi. And people would have rushed in. If he had the ability to lift his finger and separate the moon into two, What makes us think that if we had prayed to Allah, Ya Allah, this is too difficult for me? You know, I've spent 3 years with my people, hungry in a mountain, starving, and Ya Allah, I've been pelted, and I've bled so much that the nalain of the Prophet ﷺ was soaked in blood. And not only that, my brothers and sisters, I think we need to really look into this. The angel appeared and said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this is both the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon His people. If you instruct, look at the lesson in this. If you instruct me, the mountains of Taif, we will crush them onto the people of Taif. What did the Prophet ﷺ say? हमें अगर कोई बुरा भला कहे, एक काल निकाले तो हम जब तक 3 नहीं निकालते हमें सुकून नहीं मिलता। कोई हम पर कोई थोड़ी सी ज्यादती कर जाए तो हम मीटिंगें बुलाते हैं, भाई इसने ये किया, इसके साथ हमने क्या शिकवा, ऐसे ही होता है ना। तो ये नबी पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की जो सीरत तैयबा से जो हमें असबाब मिलते हैं, उसमें से ये कितना खूबसूरत सबक है कि he is saying to the angel, no, I forgive them. I forgive them. He is sitting down, he has no energy. The Prophet ﷺ is bleeding, and he is telling the angel, no, I do not want to avenge them. I want to forgive them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah. Get help, O people of Iman. Get help from patience, and get help from salah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to test us. Time does not permit. I have a few more hadiths. I don't think it will take this long. But for the youngsters, I'll quickly finish. Respect your parents. Sayyidina al-Qamar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was a great Jalil Sahabi of the Prophet ﷺ. And when he was departing from this dunya, he was in extreme pain. And his wife came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, my beloved husband is in a lot of pain. I feel that his soul wants to depart, but there's something which is stopping him. And this is for our youngsters when we tap at our parents. You're not tapping. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not even say oof. Sometimes when we get upset, we lift our hands out like this and we tap. This is not acceptable. Listen to this. The Prophet ﷺ said, does Al-Qamar, is his mother or father alive? Ya Rasulullah, his mother's alive. She's an old lady. Prophet ﷺ said, bring her to me. When she was born, he asked her, he said, is your relationship with your son, is it good? She said, yes. I'm a bit upset with him. Just a little bit upset with him. And the Prophet ﷺ said, for what reason? And she said, well, when he's with his wife, he doesn't give me that attention that I deserve. And because of this, it's broke my heart. And the Prophet ﷺ, this is, the status of your mothers and your fathers. We disrespect them. May Allah bless them. May Allah bless our parents with health. And those that have departed, may Allah give them a high status in Jannah. Anyway, the Prophet ﷺ said this is the reason why Al-Qamar radiallahu ta'ala anhu's soul is not departing. And he's in extreme pain. The only way we can get rid of him is, look, this is the Prophet ﷺ saying, not to me and you. He's saying this to a companion. The greatest beings after the Prophet ﷺ. The greatest men that have walked this planet after the Prophet ﷺ. Said, get some wood together, light it and throw Al-Qamar in there. And maybe this is how his soul will depart. I asked my brothers, my brothers sitting here, our children, we need to be extremely careful. If we disrespect our parents, the Prophet ﷺ will not be happy with us. And if the Prophet ﷺ is not happy with us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to be happy with us. बहुत सारी और बातें थी, लेकिन वक्त नहीं है. अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त जो इंतज़ामिया है, बड़ी खूबसूरती के साथ आपने इंतज़ाम किया है. अल्लाह रब्बुल इज़्ज़त आपको आपके हुस्न नीयत से बढ़कर अजर अता फरमाए. और ये जो लम्हात हैं, اللہ تعالیٰ اس کے اندر جو فیوز و برکات ہیں اس سے مستفیض ہونے اور استفادہ کرنے کی ہمیں توفیق عطا فرمائے. یہی ہمارے لمحے ہیں جو کل قیامت کے دن کام آئیں گے. جب تک یہ سانسیں باقی ہیں ہمیں اللہ اور اس کے رسول کے ذکر کے ساتھ ان کو معطل رکھنا چاہیے. وہ کسی بزرگ نے, پنجابی بزرگ نے بڑا خوبصورت کہا کہ اج صاحب ہی نے کھلے راہ بھی نے, اج صاحب ہی نے کھلے راہ بھی نے. ہدایت والا راستہ اللہ تعالیٰ نے ہمیں دکھایا ہوا ہے نا کہ اج صاحب ہی نے کھلے راہ بھی نے. یہ ٹوک نوکری ٹکتی نہیں. یعنی یہ سنہری موقع کی بات ہو رہی ہے. جب تک زندگی ہے یہ سنہری موقع ہے. یہ ٹوک نوکری ٹکتی نہیں. جی ٹر پویں تے منزلاں مک ویندیاں نے. جی ٹر پویں تے منزلاں مک ویندیاں نے. گھر بیٹھے ہیں کھلدیاں نہیں. اللہ رب العزت ہمارا یہاں پر آنا اپنی بارگاہ کے اندر اس کو شرف بول کے عطا فرمائے.
ماشاءاللہ بہت ہی خوبصورت میسج جو حضرت علامہ صاحب نے یہ خصوص جو یکسس کے لیے دیا ہے. وہ کہتے ہیں کہ پھول جو ہوتا ہے نا وہ اپنی خوشبو سے پہچانا جاتا ہے. حضرت علامہ صاحب جب وہ خطاب فرما رہے تھے تو یقین جانیے کہ حضور زیادہ محمد کی خوشبو آ رہی تھی. ان کا انداز وہ تھا. رب تعالیٰ جو ہے وہ آپ دامت برکات پر عالیہ کا سایہ دادے قائم و قائم فرمائے اور ہمیں جو ہے وہ ان علماء سے جو ہے وہ مستفید ہونے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے. حضرت علامہ عبد الرزاق صاحب دامت برکات عالیہ سے گزارش ہے کہ آپ تشریف لائیں اور چند لمحات میں جو ہے وہ آپ اپنے ملفوظات عالیہ سے ہمیں مستفید فرمائیں.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. وما ارسلنا من رسول الا ليطاع باذن الله. سامعین ذی وقار تمام احباب کو عید میلاد النبی صلی اللہ تعالیٰ علیہ وسلم کی آج کی یہ عظیم محفل پاک مبارک ہے. اور سچ بات ہے کہ میلاد مصطفیٰ کریم علیہ السلام یہ نعمت عظمیٰ ہے اور ایمان کو تازگی ملی. ہمارے مہمان مکرم علامہ شاہد تمیز صاحب خوبصورت آپ نے گفتگو کی ہے. جہاں شان مصطفیٰ بیان کی ہے وہاں سرکار کی جو تعلیمات ہیں اس سے بھی آپ کو روشناس کرائیں. علماء کرام میں یہ ہمیشہ سے ہی پیغام یہی ہوتا ہے ہدایت کا. اور انبیاء کرام کی دنیا میں تشریف آوری کا مقصد بھی یہی ہے. وما ارسلنا من رسول الا ليطاع باذن اللہ. اللہ نے جو انہیں احکامات دیے ہیں وہ آپ تک پہنچاتے ہیں. آپ رسولوں کی پیروی کرنا. آنے والے جتنے بھی انبیاء کرام جناب آدم علیہ السلام سے لے کر سرکار دو عالم علیہ السلام تک تشریف لائے, سب کا ایک ہی پیغام تھا, ہدایت کی رہنمائی. میلاد مصطفیٰ کریم علیہ السلام میں ہمارے لیے اس میں ہم کیا لے کے جائیں, پیغام کیا ہے. جس نبی رحمت صلی اللہ تعالیٰ علیہ وسلم کی محافل میلاد بڑے ذوق سے شوق سے ہم جن کا انعقاد کرتے ہیں یہ بہت بڑا اجر اور ثواب ہے. اگر صرف میلاد مصطفیٰ کریم علیہ السلام کی محافل کریں, پیغام مصطفیٰ کو ہم بھول جائیں تو ہم سے بڑا بدنصیب کوئی نہیں. پروردگار عالم نے جہاں یہ ارشاد فرمایا لقد من اللہ علی المؤمنین اذ بعث فیہم رسولا من انفسہم یتلو علیہم آیاتہ ویزکیہم ویعلمہم الکتاب والحکمہ. اللہ کے محبوب کریم علیہ السلام آپ اللہ کی طرف سے ہمارے لیے احسان ہیں اور سرکار دو عالم علیہ السلام آپ نے کتاب کی جو تعلیم ہے حضور معلم کائنات ہیں. کتاب و حکمت سرکار نے لوگوں کے قلوب کو پاکیزگی بخشی ہے. ہمارے قلوب پاکیزہ ہوتے ہیں ذکر مصطفیٰ سننے سے اور سرکار کی تعلیمات کو قبول کر کے ان پہ عمل کرنے سے. اگر رحمت کونین صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی ولادت باسعادت کے ہم تذکرے کریں مگر رحمت کونین کے طریقہ کار کو ہم نہ اپنائیں تو یہ محبت صادق نہیں آتی. صرف یہی پیغام ہے اللہ کے محبوب کریم علیہ السلام کا فرمان گرامی ہے. سرکار نے فرمایا من احب سنتی فقد احبنی من احبنی کان معی درجتی یوم القیامہ. رحمت کونین صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا من احب سنتی جس نے میری سنت کو اپنایا. میلاد مصطفیٰ کریم کی محفل میں آنے والے خوشبخت ہیں آپ حضرات مگر ذکر مصطفیٰ کے ساتھ پیغام مصطفیٰ تعلیمات مصطفیٰ کو اپنائیں. رحمت کونین صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کا لقب بھی بیان ہوا. سرکار صادق تھے امین تھے. اعلان نبوت سے پہلے لوگ سرکار علیہ السلام کو صداقت کے نام اور امین کے لقب سے جانتے تھے. ہم اپنی زندگی کا جائزہ لیں کہ جس نبی رحمت اس صادق اور امین کا ہم میلاد مناتے ہیں کیا ہمارے اندر وہ وصف موجود ہے؟ ہم سچ بولتے ہیں, امانت کا خیال رکھتے ہیں. رحمت کونین صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم پہ اترنے والا جو قرآن ہے وہ یعلمہم الکتاب والحکمہ, اللہ کے محبوب کریم علیہ السلام پہ اترنے والا قرآن ہمیں بار بار اس بات کی نشاندہی کرتا ہے یا ایھا الذین آمنوا لا تخونوا اللہ والرسول وتخونوا اماناتکم ومن یغل یأت بما غل یوم القیامہ. صرف یہ پیغام ہے, پیغام رحمت ہے کہ سرکار امین بن کے آئے. ہم حضور کے امتی ہیں, سرکار سے غلامی کا دعویٰ کرتے ہیں. ہم اس صرف امانت کا خیال کر لیں. امانت بہت وسیع مفہوم ہے. حدیث پاک میں آتا ہے کہ ایک جنگ کے موقع پہ جنگ کا اختتام ہوا, مال غنیمت جو حاصل ہوا, طریقہ کار یہ ہوتا تھا جناب بلال حبشی رضی اللہ تعالیٰ یا دیگر صحابہ کرام کو زیادہ یہ ملتا ہے جب ختم ہو جاتی مال غنیمت جو مال کفار کا ہوتا وہ بھاگ جاتے, جو حاصل ہوتا اعلان ہوتا جس کے پاس جو ہے وہ سارا لے آؤ, ایک جگہ پہ جمع کر دو. پھر اللہ کے محبوب کریم علیہ السلام اس کو تقسیم فرماتے ہیں. اعلان ہوا اسی انداز سے. ایک صحابی ہیں, ان کے پاس ایک روایت میں آتا ہے کچھ چند بالوں کا گچھا رہ گیا, ایک روایت میں آتا ہے ایک چادر رہ گئی, ایک روایت میں آتا ہے ایک رسی رہ گئی. کیا کچھ بھی تھا, معمولی سا مال رہ گیا. انہوں نے یہ نہیں کہ وہ لے کے گئے نہیں, انہوں نے سمجھا یہ معمولی چیز ہے, اس کو کیا لے کے جانا ہے, یہ تو کسی شمار میں نہیں آتی. جب سب کچھ لوگوں نے وہاں جمع کر دیا, تقسیم ہونے لگا, 2-3 مرتبہ اعلان ہوا. انہوں نے اس بات کو یہ سمجھا کہ اس کی کوئی اہمیت نہیں. بعد میں خیال پیدا ہوا اللہ کے محبوب کریم علیہ السلام کی طرف سے یہ اعلان تھا, یہ بھی تو ایک مال ہے. وہ لے کے آئے حضور کی بارگاہ میں. سرکار دو عالم علیہ السلام نے فرمایا پہلے آپ کیوں نہیں لے کے آئے؟ یہ امانت تھی قوم, یہ لوگوں کی امانت تھی. اللہ کے محبوب کریم علیہ السلام نے وہاں یہ جملہ سرکار نے ارشاد فرمایا, آپ نے فرمایا کہ یہ محشر کے دن آپ کے پاس کوئی یہ مال ہے کہ آج بن جائے گی. اور چادر کے متعلق آیا سرکار دو عالم علیہ السلام نے فرمایا من یغل یأت بما غل یوم القیامہ, امانت میں خیانت کرنے والا جو آدمی ہے جس چیز کی بھی وہ خیانت ہوتی ہے محشر کے دن وہ لے کے آئے گا. یہاں تک کہ سرکار نے فرمایا اگر کسی نے کوئی مال مویشی کے اندر خیانت کی ہے, کسی اور چیز کے اندر خیانت کی ہے, لمبی حدیث مبارکہ ہے, جس چیز کے اندر خیانت کی گئی ہے وہ محشر کے دن ساری انسانیت جمع ہوگی, آدمی کے کندھے پہ وہ چیزیں کھڑی ہوں گی, کھڑی ہو کر وہ پکار کے لوگوں کو کہیں گی میں وہ امانت ہوں جس کو اس آدمی نے ظاہر کیا تھا. اللہ کریم ہمیں میلاد مصطفیٰ کی خوشیاں نصیب فرمائے اور سرکار دو عالم علیہ السلام کے طریقے کو اپنانے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے. وما علیہ